I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for being here today. I'd like to welcome guests. We'll start with the third item. We'll have the roll call.
Farnham. Here. Helpsley.
Here.
Lorenzen.
Here.
It all counts.
Patrick. Zuber.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Voigt.
Present. We do have a quorum, so we'll proceed with the meeting agenda. First action would be the minutes for the June 8th regular board meeting. I assume you've all had a chance to look at that. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes, please?
So moved.
Lorenzen moves.
Second.
Second by Helsley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Does carry. Next item is claims against the county. Do you gentlemen have any questions? You've had the claims for a few days. We talked about a few things on Monday morning. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the claims against the county?
So moved.
Mr. Bruner moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Helsley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, it does carry. County board claims. You've had a chance to look at those. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Mr. Zuber. Mr. Lorenzen seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Now we move into the portion for public comments. I invite the public to come up to the rostrum there, and if you have any comments, we'd entertain them now. Hearing none, we'll proceed with the meeting. The first item, regular item business, is to authorize the chairman to execute the amendment to the Edgar County Enterprise Zone Intergovernmental Agreement. We do have Paul Ruff here today, who's the chairman of that committee. There's 4 of us on that, I think, right?
That's correct.
We had a public hearing yesterday, and Paul went into a complete description. There were basically no comments other than positive ones, and so we're going to proceed to have the different agencies approve. We happen to be the first one on the in line to pass it. So I would entertain, unless you gentlemen have a motion or some questions, I would entertain a motion to approve this amendment to basically expand the area that Coshocton Grain has sold to Effingham Equity, and there's 2 parcels there, and I think they total 28.19 acres, and they have a significant budget of $14 million for improvements. It'll mean between 6 and 8 new permanent jobs, and there'll be a lot of construction jobs. So we're looking forward to cooperating with Effingham Equity. They were there yesterday. Did you have anything you wanted to say on this, Paul, at all?
No, only to answer questions if anybody has any.
Well, Paul, I was just
Go ahead.
curious. No.
Okay, gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion.
My understanding, the present Coshocton Grain is already in the enterprise
It
zone.
is, Carl.
And then just the ground that they're,
Yeah, the 2 parcels, one that they have already or are in the process of purchasing, and then one that they have an option on with the Moody's. But the total is, as the chairman says, it's 28.19 acres.
We are, under this particular plan, allowed up to 15 square miles. And with the addition for the enterprise zone to expand into, with the addition of this 28.19 acres, I think it gets us a little over 8 square miles in it. So we have plenty of room for growth. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, if I understood you correctly this morning when I talked with you, we're okay as far as with the state of Illinois doing this, because I know we had to get the General Assembly approval to begin with and all that stuff.
That we don't have to
So we
go
don't have to do
through
that.
all of that, but this does go through the Department of Commerce.
And the Department of Agriculture, they both have to sign off on it.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Farnum moves,
Second.
and Mr. Zuber seconds. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Assume you're ready to vote. Could I have a roll call, please?
Farnum.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
5-0.
It does pass unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for being here, Paul. I appreciate it. All the work that you've done on this, we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Means a lot to the county. Okay, number 9, renewal contract with Bushu Human Resources, Inc. And that contract would be for September 1st, 2016 through August 31st of 2019. Mr. Zuber, would you like to describe for us briefly?
This is a continuation of some services that we've had for the last 3 years, something we've talked about for the last 2 to 3 months at our board meetings and our study sessions, whether or not it's important to still have a consultant in the insurance world. I think I, and especially our insurance crew a little bit with Derek and Andy, we all think that it's rather important to have that because, quite honestly, we're not sure about Affordable Care Act and what's going to happen to it. It's not. I hope that we've been able to work and have a better understanding of each other. I think based on that, they've kept their rates $9,950 or $9,950. It's going to be the same thing as it has been, and they're offering that for the next 3 years also. Yes, from that standpoint, I guess if you're looking for a motion, I'd make that motion, or if you want to have a discussion.
Let's ask if there's any questions of you, Ellen, first. Anybody have any questions on the issue before us? Alan, did you want to go ahead and make that motion then?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Zuber moves and Mr. Lorenzen seconds. Further discussion, please. Okay, assume you're ready to vote. Why don't we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Certainly. Farnum.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
It does carry unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Next item is the release of April 21st, 2014 closed session minutes with redaction. I'd ask the clerk to describe this action as he has described it to us in the past and make sure that we are all on the same page before we do this.
In a recent review with the Attorney General's office, it was brought to our attention that what we thought was going to be necessary to do closed session, it turned out to be was a presentation by 911 on relocating the office, equipment, that type of thing. And at the time we went into that meeting back in 2014, it was in a study session. We thought there was a need for closed session. Turns out that there's not. I mean, there was not, with the exception that there were 2 employees named, and we would go in and redact the names and trim that out just enough so where that would protect the privacy of the individuals. But other than that, we see no need for that to stay closed. So that's the short of it.
That's something we've had Mark Quasi look at a little bit.
Absolutely.
as Attorney General and all.
And you talked to them about it.
Absolutely. I've talked to Mark, the Attorney General's office.
This would resolve an issue that's been hanging fire.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, I would prefer
I
one.
make that motion.
Mr. Zuber moves. Mr. Brunner seconds. Is there any further discussion? I'd like a roll call vote on that, please.
Certainly. Farnum.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
And Brunner.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. That does unanimously carry. The next item is to engage our auditors for another year for FY16 audit. That would be Doherty and Parks Management Consultant and that would be not to exceed $37,900. That would be the same amount as what we roughly paid this year. So we wanted to get that item taken care of and out of the way. So any questions or anybody have a motion on this particular issue?
This is something, we've used these people and the people around us all feel comfortable, Don and everybody, with how they operate.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Farnham moves. Do we have a second? Mr. Lorenzen seconds. I assume you're ready to vote. Would we have a roll call on that also?
Farnham.
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Zuber.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
That does unanimously carry. Thank you, guys. Next item is officer department head reports. And so we can get the long and the short, the good and the bad of it. We'll start off with Don.
Thank you. You have your report in front of you. Very pleased with the numbers on it compared to the previous 3 years. Other than that, I no highlights, so to speak. I will say this, I'll go right into some information from the state. I got a letter, and the county board chairman's, or the chairman's been given a copy of it. We have what we call video gaming tax that we get every month since the spring of 2013. The letter in substance just says, we gave it to the wrong people. It should have gone to the city of Paris.
That's why Paul's here today. I tell you, Paul.
The letter ends with, please remit a payment of $30,000 and change to the Illinois Gaming Board. And I checked our numbers, I was only coming up with 28 and change. So I called a lady by the name of Liz something. And she says, oh, well, that's because you got one more check coming. Even though you don't deserve it, we're still gonna send it to you. Then it'll bring it up to the 30,000. So we got that check this week, so now, lo and behold, we agreed to the penny with what they say should be going the other way. I will send them a payment. I'd like to get it paid off by the end of our fiscal year, but something tells me I'm gonna put it on the front burner and be done with it, because I don't want it to be said that the city of Paris getting their money is dependent on how quick we pay them back.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I understand.
How much was it?
$30,545.
Yeah, he's got the.
And change.
We're actually reimbursing the state of Illinois.
Right.
So who knows when they're gonna get that money.
Exactly, and I don't want it to ever be said that we drug our feet. So, another thing, a lot of you know that every month you have to send in a report to the Illinois Department of, or Illinois Department of
Security.
Employment Security, IDES, I-D-E-S. And I did, and then I get a letter that says we have an overpayment of $1,300 and change. Well, I disagreed with that. I mean, I don't give the state any more money than what they need. And I called them yesterday, they basically said, oh, 90% of the county's got that same letter. I go, why? Oh, because we messed up on their rates. So, I have 3 years to use that as an apply towards a quarter. Well, lo and behold, yesterday I went ahead and did the unemployment report that's due by the end of this month, and Chairman, I applied that $1,300. So we still got to give them a check for $9,000 and change by the end of the month. I'll be doing a demand on that. Other than that, collections are going well. First installment is due this Friday by 4 o'clock. Please don't come in at 8:05 Monday morning and look at me with those sad puppy eyes and say, don't charge me interest, because my girls will jump all over you and say, sorry, you owe the penalty. Don't do it. And I got to support them. So we do have a drop box on front of our building for after hours to help you out. Something new. We don't accept credit cards or debit cards at the counter, because I was always hesitant for it to cost, it was going to cost the county taxpayers some kind of fee. So we always went through the Illinois Treasurer's website. It's called ePay. Well, they made a change this year. Imagine that, the state made another change. And in their wonderful wisdom, they now have a contract with the IMB bank that now charges us a monthly fee, whether I've got money in that account, whether we've got money in that account or not. So sorry, only about 20 people partaked of that e-pay system last year, and it's going to cost me almost $200 in fees, so I discontinued it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to spend $200 so 20 people can pay with their credit card, where they are also paying a convenience fee of at least 3%, the company that's doing it. Sorry. I don't see that changing. I will explore for next season getting something. I wish there was a way I could just accept debit cards, that's it. We get more people asking about debit cards than we do credit cards. But I don't want it to cost us money, I'm sorry. I hope to do a distribution by, if I can get it, the computer part done by next Wednesday and get the wires arranged where they hit everybody's bank account by a week from this Friday. And I'm projecting it's going to be about 2/3 of what your levy is, because we have already collected $3,285,000 of the second installment. 45% of the payments we have received included second installments. So I encourage all of you to pay both your installments. Even though I just only paid my first one, I encourage you to pay both of them. Any
You didn't
questions?
wait till the last day this time.
No, I didn't wait till the last day. Matter of fact, Michael, I wrote the check before I came to the meeting so I could say I paid my taxes. So. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Eric and Nicole?
Good morning. It's good to be back from maternity leave. So I'll start off with, we have a, I don't even know what year class this is, 4th or 5th year EMT class that will be starting in September. It will last for 22 weeks. We've had a lot of interest, people coming to us for it this time, so I looked to have a full class. We just sent two employees, myself and one of the other employees, to the national instructor course to be a nationally certified instructor for these classes. So we're adding instructors to our ranks and teach them so that we can offer more classes. We've got requests for more classes, we just don't have any instructors to facilitate those, so that will help. So we've got some other first responder classes and other stuff coming up. And we also just outfitted our entire fleet of ambulances with new power cots. They're the ones who push the button and they go up and down. We've had them since we bought the service many years ago. However, we've outlived their life expectancy by probably 3 to 5 years. And so we've stretched it as far as we can, because maintenance isn't covered on those anymore. So we now have new cots on all of the ambulances, and we did outfit our newest ambulance that we spoke about last year, the Canadian-based model, with a power load system too. So it's, when you take the cot up to it, pretty much will load it into the ambulance itself, help decrease back injuries. These cots are all rated to hold up to almost 800 pounds and lift that. Unfortunately, we do have patients in this community that will test that for us. We've had to call the fire department for lift assist with quite a few of our patients anymore, for some of them because they are heavier. And so this will help prevent injuries, prevent any kind of accidents from happening with those patients on the cots too.
Thank you, Nicole.
I've got a question. Normally on your EMT classes, how many people are in those classes?
We try to max it out about 12, between 12 and 15.
Are most of them like volunteer ambulance people, fire, or
They've
just
been
people from the
out of the
public?
community that are interested in working in EMS. So
How many of those classes a year do you have?
we normally do one,
One a year.
because they last 22 weeks. So it'll take us from September to
Okay.
end of April, May, plus in the testing process for them to get in to do their national registry for the state, and everything takes a couple more months. So it gives us about a 4 or 5 month break in between before we start another one.
Eric, do you have anything to add?
No.
All right. It's nice you both were here. Thank you. Jill?
Kind of quiet out there since we got our exercise over with. We've had a lot of changes on how we do our grants and things at the state, so it's a learning process there. A lot of severe weather, we're trying to still promote our wins, get people signed up for that. We'll be at the fair. A couple other little activities we have promoted. We're going to do a presentation with, is it the food something? They have the, whatever the food thing is they have going on. The food program, yeah. We're gonna do a presentation with them next week. Other than that, that's about it.
Any questions? Okay. Dina?
We're excited to announce we've got a new updated version to the GIS feature on the county website. It's quicker, it's easier to navigate, and most important, it is user-friendly with any mobile device. We've had a lot of people in the field on a phone and tablet not being able to use it, and now it should be user-friendly with all those devices. And we also negotiated with them to get a counter put on this feature so that we can actually track how many hits we're getting, how long they're on there, and what kind of device they're using when they're on there. That will help us then judge in the future what kind of updates are needed, if they're needed. So we're excited, check it out. Also, this Monday is our annual public farmland hearing for farmland assessments. Encourage everyone to attend. It'll be at the Farm Bureau at 6 o'clock.
We will be there. Okay.
Is it the same lady that gave it last
Yes,
year?
Brenda will be there again to do a presentation.
I thought she was excellent.
Yes.
Any questions further of Dina? Thank you, Dina. Sheriff?
Well, then I've got, finally, we've got all of our new vehicles on the road. They're up and running, so that's a little bit of good news for us.
Good.
That's it.
Very good. Monty?
Not much to report. Probation's worked last month with HRC in creating a program for keeping the board informed about counseling, which seems to be making the judges happy, so we're pleased about that.
Don, did you want to say anything about where he is on his finances?
I think we did receive one more payment, didn't we, Lonnie?
Slow and steady.
We're not complaining, but if we
That
could,
is partly why our numbers are looking better.
yeah, there you go. See,
Give it all to you, Monty. It's all.
I take all the credit I can get.
you caught the heck here a few months ago, so now you can. Sandy?
We just finished our training with Goodens for the imaging, one step closer to the e-filing, which the Supreme Court, has mandated we do. So, so that went well, and, just a process, getting ready for it.
Okay, any questions of Sandy? Thank you, Sandy. Aaron?
Nothing really to report. We're moving into seal coat, so there'll be a lot of seal coating going on in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, next week's even supposed to be hotter than this week, so.
Yeah, it's good seal coat weather.
Yep.
Other than that, nothing to report.
Any questions of Aaron?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank you for looking into that about getting the striping on that. Wasn't pleased with the answer, but I will follow up with Mr. Everton. Thank you.
Okay. Ken?
Just one thing, I want to apologize for the unsightliness of our canopy just east of our building at 118 East Court Street. It's going to be replaced. This insurance claim, it's taken us a while to get all that worked out with the insurance company, and we're waiting for the final quotes to come in. It will be a custom canopy that has to be put back there, so I imagine they'll want several weeks at least to get that fixed up. But we'll have it looking good here soon.
How did the new temporary or interim budget affect you?
It hasn't affected us at all yet, other than to know that supposedly at some point we have money coming. But it's no cash flow right now. But at least we have the stopgap budget and hope that at some point they'll actually send us some.
But throughout all this, you've been able to maintain services, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a long waiting list, but we're poised to hire some more clinicians to try to work on that once we see that the state's starting to send us some money.
And we are.
I mean, there's a lack of trust there, Ken? Is that what I'm denoting?
We just want to be cautious.
Oh,
Cautious.
that's a nice way to put it.
Thank you, Ken. Nice to have you here. Did I miss anybody? Oh, yes, Augie.
I just wanted to mention again that 3, 4 of us department heads are looking into updating our real estate, property tax software. We're using an old DOS system, and it is terribly inefficient. So we're looking at modern technology and software to be more efficient, and hopefully we can find something that will be less expensive than what we currently are using now. And I think we have we do have an agreement between the Treasurer's Office, the Supervisor of Assessments, IT, and County Clerk's Office that there is a need to update. And so we're in the process of researching that. And just wanted to keep you updated on what we're doing. And we're excited about the possibilities. Other than that, questions for me?
Thank you, Augie. Okay, the next item would be board member committee reports. Mr. Bruner, you're on the docket first, I guess.
Well, it's been pretty quiet. You probably saw the article in the paper a couple weeks ago. The Animal Shelter and the Humane Society had a dog adoption fair at NAL. I think Andrew's kind of disappointed there was only 2 or 3 dogs that were adopted, but I think it helps people realize that we're out there trying to get rid of some of the dogs we have at the shelter. So she did a good job on it. Other than that, nothing else.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruner. Mr. Zuber?
The only thing we have coming up right now is our health insurance bids. We had our normal Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then also talked with Blue Shield. They had 2 other people, or 2 other groups ask for information about it. Of course, we've had that before, and sometimes nobody turns anything back in. But we're in the middle of that process. So, I don't know, Terry, is there anything you wanted to add to that? We're in the process, right? Okay. Amy down there at Bushy said we're flowing right along, right where we should be right now.
Thank you, Mr. Zuber. Mr. Helsley?
Nothing at this time.
All right. Mr. Farnham?
Nothing.
And finally, Mr. Lorenzen.
Our contract went out yesterday to Mid-Continent, who is the business that's renting half of our main hangar. They've already started moving in with our permission to get things moving. We're just a little in the contract, but that's all going well. And so you should see traffic there out at the airport pick up here for the next couple weeks.
Okay. All right, you did receive a copy of the budget updated. You'll notice that 66.6% of the year has transpired. And at this point, of course, we've got, as Donna stated, we're going to be getting a fairly large chunk of revenue in, somewhere around 600,000 just from that, if it's 2/3 roughly. So our expenditures at this point are running 55%, but you got to add 1 more payroll this month, but it's still pretty good. And you see we have paid out a couple of one-time bills only this month. For example, Doherty and Parks got paid out at $37,000, so we had some pretty big bills that won't reoccur, so we're hoping the budget works out well. When we get a chance to study that, we can talk about any issues that you have at the next study session. Okay? Other than that, I don't have anything else at this point. Board members, do you have anything else to talk about or anything? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
No closed session.
No, sir.
I'll make that one.
Mr. Helsley moves. Is there a second?
Second.
And Mr. Lorenzen seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.